Good evening. South Africa can be expecting more hours of load shedding. This particular area in Sandton City has already begun experiencing the worst of load shedding. We took to the streets in the local bakery to discover how load shedding has affected their business.
Called the Black Forest Bakery.
Okay, so what do you understand by load shedding?
As far as I know, load shedding is when they withhold electricity to not put as much pressure on the energy sources, which is only one in South Africa, Eskom.
Okay, how does it affect your business?
Well, it's clearly less active when there's load shedding because many people are scared to be on the street.
What's the longest time you went without electricity?
Personally, I think it's been 12 hours.
We then headed to Boston Media House, which is a learning institution in Sandton City. They are being heavily affected as lecture rooms are dark due to load shedding. We interviewed a student at Boston Media House to figure out how they are being negatively impacted by load shedding.
Load shedding affects me in so many ways, and first of all, when the electricity goes off, it takes time for the generator to kick in, and sometimes our laptops also shut down and it takes time to reboot our files and to access them again. Also, the Wi-Fi goes down, you understand, because of the network. It goes away for like maximum 30 minutes and you become less productive, and in that process you get distracted.
Drivers are also getting the worst of load shedding as road robots are turned off when load shedding strikes.
Good morning, my name is Tumluko Bowe. I'm a student at Boston Media House. The way load shedding has affected me as a driver, it would be every time I travel to school, it's always load shedding, and because of the traffic and how long it takes on the road for the cars to get to their next destination, it makes me very late for school. On top of that, there are like a lot of accidents on the road as well, and some drivers are very impatient on the road, which is very detrimental to my well-being. And the way I would say how load shedding has affected me at school, it would be, especially right now, it's coming to submission week, and I feel like it is important for us as students to find a place where there is electricity, where there are reliable resources for us to use. And because there is load shedding, a lot of the time our work gets wiped out and we have to start all over again, which is very like tedious and stressful. And another thing, it's just that it also delays us when it comes to our assignments and our productivity as a whole.
Balisa details on how load shedding affects her studio time.
Load shedding has a negative impact in my schoolwork and in the craft that I had right now, because I have a show, right? And then especially last year, because the generator was not working, so during load shedding we wouldn't have our shows, and that would mean that we would be less productive. We'd just come to school for nothing at all, because also we couldn't do assignments or anything like that. So load shedding has a really negative impact. We're not productive enough. We just sleep throughout because there's nothing to do. Literally, we can't work, we can't get our schoolwork done. There's nothing happening.
Even with Boston Media House supplying a generator, the long hours become too heavy for the generator, and students do become affected by load shedding. A local business owner has decided to use gas instead of electrical stoves to cook for their customers.
Hello?
Yes.
Good on yourself?
That's okay.
How does load shedding affect your business?
For us, it doesn't affect that much because we're using gas mostly, so load shedding doesn't affect us so much.
Okay, the name of your business?
Fireworks, Cycles.
Location?
Location, Parkmore, 130 Parkmore.
Thank you.
Sure.
How far and how more can load shedding affect businesses around this area? Long hours of load shedding have affected too many businesses. Will load shedding end? Will Eskom solve the problem? How and when will this be solved?